I never would have thought that losing so much weight would have such an impact on my life and on others around me. Hi everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome back to another video. I never would have thought that this whole weight loss thing was a journey, and not only a journey of my own, but I'm also helping other people with their journey as well. I think that's really amazing. I lost weight very fast, and it was the first time I ever went through a weight loss transformation in my life. Before this year, I was never ever thin. I was always big. I was over 200 pounds my entire life. I was 9 years old, and I believe I was like 150 pounds, like in the 3rd grade. But I didn't get treated badly, I guess I would say, because I kind of grew like that my entire life. I'm 5'8", so I'm not like 5'1" or 5'2" or 5'3". I'm pretty tall. It never kind of really affected me beforehand, but it did at the same time. In my personal opinion, I feel like if you are struggling with weight, you are struggling with something inside of yourself. You're either struggling with insecurities or discipline, obedience, you like pleasure too much. There's something going on, and it has to be up to you to kind of make that change to do better. I didn't really know what the meaning of life was before. I didn't really understand my purpose. I didn't understand why I was here. So I kind of just went with the flow. I was abused in the past by just different people. I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say specific situations. I don't really know who watches my videos. But let's just say by people closest to me, I used to get verbally abused by the way that I looked. It was kind of like a certain thing to hurt me. It was like, oh, you're pretty, you're pretty, you're pretty, until you make me mad, and then you're the fat girl type of thing. I think people saw that I was insecure before. Like, I always did my makeup, I always did my hair, I was out and active and stuff. There was something inside of me that needed to change, and it was manifesting physically. And I think people saw that, and when they saw that, they used it against me to attack me. So of course, I would always get like, I'm cute for a big girl, especially with guys. Like, guys would be attracted to me, but it would be like, oh, she's big, but she's cute though. I always felt like I fit in, but I didn't. In school, I was always around like Caucasian people or a different ethnicity than what I am. When I grew up, no one really looked like me, and even though I was bigger, there was no one there to kind of like represent me. Before Instagram, before social media, before all of this, it's like you don't know until you know. And in my experience growing up, when I was a kid, when I was 12, 13, when I was a preteen, there was no one like me around me. There was no one who looked like me, who talked like me, who thought like I did, and I felt really left out. And I was always treated differently. I wasn't necessarily treated badly, but it was always different. I was always the exception. As I just stated, if you're dealing with something internally, I believe that it will manifest physically, and I think people saw that within inside of myself. I used to do makeup all the time. I used to be a makeup artist when I was in high school and middle school and stuff like that, and that was the way that I would make money. And it would always be like, you're pretty, but you're bigger, or you're pretty, but there was always just a but there. As for myself, the way that I treated myself was basically terrible. Like, I did not care about the way that I looked. I used to wear sweaters in the summertime. I used to always want to hide my body, cover my body up. No one ever paid attention to it. I did not want to show myself ever. My weight was always something used against me. In many, many situations, people would have nothing else to say about me. Not that I was dumb, not that I wasn't talented, not that I wasn't smart, nothing else except that I was bigger than other people. It's hard when you're around a lot of people who are thinner than you, especially when you're like 12 years old and you're already 175 pounds. It's really hard to deal with. Being big was all that I knew about. And as I mentioned in my weight loss video, yeah, I used to be in basketball, I used to do ballet, I used to be active, but I did not take care of myself. And of course, you know, I was 12, I was 11, I was 13, 14, 15. I didn't know how to take care of myself. Yeah, I got bullied a lot. But I feel like my bullying could have been a lot worse. Bullying I got was kind of, sure, fat shaming, but no one ever fat shamed me if they weren't mad at me. Like, when people were around me, they would include me until I did something that they didn't like. Then I was the exclusion. Then I was the fat girl. Then I was the girl that they didn't want around. The girl you would never talk to. The girl that you would never date. When I was in elementary school, I had a problem with guys. I wasn't ever really confident enough to talk to them because I was always bigger and I was taller. Going out through the years though, I didn't really have a problem with guys because even though I was bigger, people still saw me as attractive because even though like physically, like from the neck down, I wasn't really attractive, but I always did my hair and I always did my makeup regardless of how big I was. I know people are really interested in the transformation because yes, I did transform spiritually, but I also transformed physically, and it's noticeable with the people who are around me, with the people who know me, with the people who saw me online. Even now, you can look at my older videos and the way that I'm doing videos is different. It's a transformation. When I went through the accident, I lost a lot of my memory. I don't really remember a lot, and I choose to remember the good times rather than the bad times. I went through abuse, I went through neglect, but these were the reasons that I was big in the first place. I went through hardship, a lot of hardship. I've been through a lot of situations. My weight came from my unhappiness. My unhappiness didn't come from my weight. The way I was feeling about myself internally was manifesting externally. I was already depressed. I was going through stuff. I've said this time after time again that I was having issues. I was not the person I am today. And of course, that is what happens when you're younger. You know, you don't know what you want. You don't know what you're going through. You don't understand what the meaning of life is. You don't understand your purpose. I got chased down a lot, to believe it or not. I got a lot of attention when I was younger. I had people lusting after me, but it was weird. It's like now people want to talk to me, want to be around me, whatever. But when I was bigger, it was like men specifically wanted me because I was bigger. I got a lot of people with BBW like fetishes. I used to have men say to me all the time, oh, you're cute for a big girl, or even though you're big, you're still cute, or I like my women big. Like, I used to get this all of the time, and it wasn't like, it made me feel even worse about myself. It made me feel like I don't want to be attractive to someone because of the way that I look. Even my closest friends at the time even used my weight against me. When we would fight or when there would be an issue or something, we stopped being friends, it would always be like, oh, the girl who's fat, the girl, da 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 da. And it was like, but you weren't saying that when you were my friend. It was obvious that being bigger was an insecurity, but it was okay until you wanted to hurt me. And like I said, I was bigger because I didn't love myself. I had a lot going on inside of myself. I had a lot going on up here. I wasn't in the right mind space until my accident. I get it. You know, I was not taking care of myself. I was not loving myself. And not that it's an excuse for the stuff that I went through and the stuff that I endured, but it was just like, people put me into situations. I'm not even going to put the blame on other people because, of course, you know, I take fault for whatever I did and the mistakes that I made. But people would like to try to persuade me into situations because they know I didn't love myself. People knew subconsciously that I didn't love myself because of the way that I looked. Now, now I get treated totally, completely different. Before, I got a lot of attention. After I lost my weight, people have a lot more interest in me. People who I thought didn't like me, people who I thought I would never talk to in my entire life, hit me up, text me, ask me for advice, try to get to see me, try to make plans with me now. I get a lot of love, a lot of compliments, but the thing is, for me, it's not about the external. The external is what is within inside of yourself. The reason why people may or may not say that they like the way that I look now is because I took that decision to take care of myself. I take care of myself. I love myself. I care about myself. I did not before. What people were seeing back then and what they were seeing now was a manifestation of the way that I felt about myself. The way that I talk, the way that I act, the way whatever now is how I feel about myself right now. And the way that I was in the past was how I felt about myself and the way that I saw myself back then. I always thought that I don't deserve what is best for me. See, now I think I deserve everything because everyone deserves everything. Everyone is important. Everyone is special. Everyone deserves love, care, compassion, all of that. But back then, I didn't feel that way about myself. Because I didn't feel strongly about myself, that physically manifested, and my relationships also were affected by the way that I saw myself and viewed my reality. People treat me completely different now, but in the sense where it's like they want to know what I did. But the only thing that I did was love myself. And that's what I'm trying to teach to everyone, to help everyone with, because I went through it. I've been through a lot of traumatic situations. And getting into that accident, being obese, those were some of those situations. And I made it through them, and I'm not special or more special than anybody else. Anyone can do this. It's called self-love. I now believe that you are the creator of your own reality. So it doesn't really matter how people treat me, because the way that people treat me or the way that people treated me was a reflection of the way that I felt about myself. Because whatever you think and whatever you feel and whatever you perceive will manifest itself. A lot of people ask me, what was your mindset going through it? And that is what I'm trying to teach. And this is why I'm making these videos, because yes, it's physical, but this transformation happens to millions of people inside of their mind when you go through an awakening or when you decide to take care of yourself. It just manifested for me physically because losing weight was one of those things that I needed to do. I guess a major difference between then and now is that then I was kind of used, like I was used as like a fetish, or there was some kind of like conditional circumstance to it. But now it's like, oh, I like the way she looks, I want to get to know her. People don't put me in like this category. I feel like you get defined sometimes, most of the time, a lot of the time, especially if you're a person of color, if you're a certain height, if you're a certain weight, you get judged and you get defined. And for me, being a Black woman who was bigger, I'm obviously mixed. People just liked the way that I looked, and they really put a stereotype against me, and they really put a fetish onto me. That was like the biggest thing. People didn't really care about what I had to say. I kind of had to put on like a persona to make people really interested in me. I already have a lot of personality with inside of myself, but I felt like I had to try even more because I felt like I had a lot to prove. I had to be funny and I had to be smart because I'm not physically attractive. Like, that's the way that I saw myself. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks about you. It doesn't matter. It will never ever matter. It matters how you see yourself and how you view yourself, because that will determine what your relationships are like. That will determine what your life is going to be like by the way you view yourself. That is the only thing that stands in between what you want and where you are. If people are bullying you, talking bad about you, making you feel bad, distance yourself from those relationships and do better for yourself and take care of yourself. I'm so sorry if you're going through something hard or if people just won't leave you alone. It's not right, and you shouldn't put up with that. But at the same time, you are in control of every situation you are in. Every single situation that you are in control of. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to take control of your future and do what you want with it. You are a creator. What is happening around you is a perception of the way that you view yourself already. If people are treating you badly, it's because you feel badly about yourself. I didn't feel like it was necessary filming this video, but a lot of people want to know how I was treated. But the thing is, I was treated less than I'm treated now because of the way that I viewed myself. the way that I was treated before didn't matter because it was a reflection of what was in here. Stay strong. If you want to change, if you have the will to change, that's enough. Do it. Today is the day to change. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for hearing my story, and stay tuned for next videos.